hear that.
Made up movies, made up movies.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Made up movies, made up movies. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made up movies. Movies in your face now. Come and get an earful. Made up movies, made up movies. Hello and welcome to a Made Up Movies. I'm your host, Matt Shore, and with me, as sometimes, is the toilet to my big stinky turd.
Okay.
It's Mike Kolar.
Wow, coming out. Did I do something wrong? Did I do something
Coming out
wrong?
of my cage, and I've been doing
I feel like I did
just
something
fine.
wrong. You called me a toilet.
Yeah, well, no, I'm the turd to your toilet.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
the food
bad.
that goes
It's
in
like
your mouth. This is off to a bad start. Bad start. Hello and welcome to Made Up Movies. We are a comedy podcast, theoretically, in spite of what just happened, and we take suggestions from listeners for fake made up movies that don't exist, and we review them like they're real through the power of improv and our transdimensional goggles.
Yep.
This is Kolar.
Hey, I love. Let me eat your turds. I'm a toilet.
Okay, that's not appropriate. For
You're the one who
for
said
show.
it. You're the one who said
Yeah,
I
but
love
that was-
turd loving toilet boy.
Oh boy, we're off to the races here. So sometimes we do things, and our listeners say, "Hey, that detracts from the show.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Don't
Yes.
do that." So instead, I'm going to talk about a little thing that happened in my real life
Okay.
just now.
I
gonna
can't.
share-
I can't tell if you're being serious anymore. But yeah, let's do this. I guess.
Okay. I went to Hudson, Ohio.
Yeah,
earlier
Hudson.
today.
Woo!
That's the hometown of Mike Kolar
Me.
right here. And because I got a little word on the street
Uh-huh.
that Cold Stone Creamery
Okay.
is
Yeah.
having a special new kind of ice cream. I hadn't been to Cold Stone in about a decade or so, and I decided I wanted to give myself a little treat.
Little treat before the show. A little treat before you record. Yep.
Exactly. They have now Nintendo themed ice cream. This is real.
What kind? Go on. Go on.
So
I
they
don't
have
understand.
they have three different kinds right now. This is real. You can go to Cold Stone and get it. Isn't really an ad for them. It's sort of a
Yeah, how
review
much is
of
Cold
my
Stone paying us for this?
They're paying us nothing.
Okay.
I am paying them a ridiculous it's still expensive ice cream. This is more Matt Shore's food reviews. Let's think of
okay.
it like that, okay?
Yeah, great.
So this review of my Cold Stone going experience, having not been to Cold Stone in a long time. And if I remember of Cold Stone is that they used to like sing when you tipped them or something. They had to like sing a song about bananas.
Really? I don't
yeah,
think
I
I've
think at
ever
some
been to
point-
Cold Stone Creamery because I do not remember that.
Really? Because it wasn't like Johnny Rockets where if you put on certain songs they have to like get up and
They have
dance.
to dance
but it
like
was,
the monkeys they are. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like that, but I remember there was some old thing at Cold Stone where they sing a song about
That
bananas if you tip them $20 or something.
Hey,
I don't know if that's
$20, I'll sing a song. That's not. That's a good tip.
So anyway, they got these new I saw it yesterday. I forget where I saw. I think just through I have a Twitter for video games. It's like a separate Twitter where I tweet about video games, and I actually forget what the address of it is, so I can't really promote it.
Terrible
But
plug. Terrible plug. For
If
this.
you go on to @Shorester, you should be able to find it through there. It's like Shorester's Game Journal or something like that. But anyway, I saw I was looking at Wario64, which is one of those sites that cheap ass gamer places that they're Twitter accounts that basically tell you when video games are going to be super cheap. So they're really helpful to have bookmarked. And so I got a notification from them that these new flavors were coming in, and they have Mario Party Superstar,
okay.
which is the kind that I got.
Is that
And
just
they
sherbet?
have-
It sounds like sherbet.
No, it is. Well, I mean, I don't know. Just do you want to know all the ingredients? I don't want to like blow the load of this like hot scoop or cold scoop. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to re-record because of that mess up right there. But it has the Mario one has. Okay, well. Let me preface this by saying what kinds there are, and then I'll get into my ingredient fiasco.
Okay.
With the 12-year-old girls who work at Cold Stone in Hudson. So there's Mario, there's Kirby, and there's Animal Crossing. And Kirby is like bright pink and strawberry. Looks like Kirby, like you can eat his soul and just chew up his.
If it wasn't bright
guts.
pink, I was gonna be really mad.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really, really good. Hard not to get that one. Animal Crossing, I think, is like a banana split. It's like chocolate base with like, I don't know, banana flavoring or something like that. It was hard to. It's like Island Getaway package or something.
Oh,
like
I
that.
see. It should have been oranges and pears and all the fruit on the tree, basically.
Or like pineapple. I don't know. It should have been. It didn't speak Animal Crossing to me.
Or it should have been all the flavors of animals mixed up, like bears and cats and dogs.
When I saw this, I wasn't sure if it was one of those complicated Pokemon licensing things, because Pokemon is like owned by Nintendo, but also Game Freak, and then they have all these deals with Niantic and the Pokemon Company.
Yeah,
all this bullshit. But like, why isn't there like a lemon Pikachu, Pika lemon surprise that just like looks like Pikachu's back and has like a little, I don't know, what's that like cake, fondant, like
fondant?
Is that what it is? Do you know what I mean? It's like that thing that doesn't taste good but allows you to make those cakes that are on Netflix.
It's fondant. It's fondant, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it like
fondant.
That. Fondant. Is how I hear it said.
Northeast Ohio, Fandant.
Fandant. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We're on a mission from God.
It's like what all those cool cakes are covered in.
Fondant.
It's like if you make a nice cake on Instagram,
French?
it's usually covered in fondant.
Right. There's this incredibly beautiful and creative cosplayer who I am like acquaintances with, Gracie Cosplay Lass. And she, like, one of her day jobs besides being like the world's most beautiful model is she makes these like insane, like, it's a cake shaped like Watto, and it looks exactly like Watto and shit like that. They're really crazy. But yeah, and they have those Netflix shows, like, is it cake or not? And it's like, this is why I'm canceling my subscription. But
it always is cake, though. That's what this show isn't good, because it's always
they
cake.
should just be like, one of them's a real person, and they just start screaming.
You killed him!
So basically, all right, so I go into this place. I haven't been to one of these places in a long time. I'm sort of slovenly dressed as usual. I feel a little awkward just being like slovenly dressed going into this like super cutesy. It feels a little theme parky. And like the guy who comes in behind me looks like real rough and tumble, like what I like to call like aspirational redneck.
Uh-huh.
Like the kind of guy who would like hang out and drink Four Locos at a gas station all day. He's like, he probably grew up in the burbs, but like wants to be a redneck really bad.
Yeah, I get that.
And he's like sizing me up, like, what kind of loser like you goes and gets ice cream during the day, but like he's also doing it. So it's kind of like, it's weird. And so I go there, and there's like this girl who like literally looks like 12 or 13 years old. She looks exhausted. And they're like running around. It's not even really busy, but it just feels like the only people who work there are like high school girls right now. Like there's no manager in sight, or if it is a manager, it's one of these teen girls. And so they look really slammed. I just like, I see what I want. It's advertised right there. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do the thing where I'm like, I don't see it advertised, but I want a really complicated specialty thing, please. You know, and like really piss these people off. But like everything at Cold Stone seems crazy complicated.
Yeah, because you have to smash it down and like put in all your ingredients.
Yeah,
right?
these like little mallets.
Easy job.
I mean, she didn't look like she was doing. It looked like she knew exactly what she was doing. Do you know what I mean? Like she seemed like a fucking.
Oh, I'm not saying a monkey couldn't do the job. I'm saying it's not a fun job. You're just smashing ice cream all day.
It didn't. She looked miserable.
Yeah.
She looked absolutely miserable.
You've been to Hudson, right? Everybody there is full of the worst kind of privilege in the world. She probably deals with the worst people all day.
To be honest, I mean, I was just like, I was happy to be in Hudson just based on all the time I spent in Twinsburg, because Twinsburg is just like crappier Hudson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody from Hudson looked down on Twinsburg. Not as much as Streetsboro, but definitely in a way.
I mean, at least Streetsboro's got that nice fast food row right there. This is real, like Ohio inside baseball right now.
This is deep dive Ohio.
If you've ever watched Gilmore Girls, Hudson, Ohio is kind of like Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls, only a little bit more white privilegey. Yeah. But they do have this. They've got a nice mix of like old school historic churches and a nice town square, and this like upscale shopping district.
Yeah.
And while a lot of the upscale shopping district is really pretentious, so little of this area of Ohio has any sort of like higher end upscale theme park outdoor, like the kind of places that if you're an LA person, like the Grove in LA is like a outdoor shopping center, or any of these places. There are so few of them in Northeast Ohio.
It's a nice place to buy like $100 pillow or something.
Right. Or yeah, like an $8 cup of ice cream, right? So yeah, that's basically what I did. So anyway, I was like debating. The Kirby one is like, I love strawberry. It's what I would normally get, but I was like, I want to see, it seems like, you know, in Mario Party, there's like this Princess Peach's, castle or a birthday cake, map in Mario Party. And it seems like that's what they were going for, is like the theming on it. And so I was like, I want to see if this tastes like a birthday cake ice cream. Like, it sounds like a cool idea. I've never had, like, whereas I'm pretty sure I can guess what Kirby's is going to taste like. It's going to taste like strawberry on strawberry on strawberry. It's going to be really good.
It tastes like a weird Jello marshmallow. Because that's what.
Yeah,
Kirby...
there were marshmallows in it too, which was the other thing where I'm like, I like fish food, but I don't know about strawberry and marshmallow right now. I don't know if that's what I'm into. So I get the thing. She does the whole thing, which she's got these magic mallets and she's like slapping the ice cream around like it's pizza dough. She's like really putting that ice cream to task. And she makes a thing. I get like the biggest size because like I didn't eat lunch. And so I'm just like, I guess this giant diabetes creator is my lunch right now.
Being an adult is great. You just eat ice cream for lunch.
I know, right? And so I get this thing and I look at it and I'm like remembering the tantalizing picture that I saw. And I'm like, I don't want to be I don't think she put the cake pieces in, which is like the selling point of the thing. It has like cake in it, like not just like cake batter or something. Like it has pieces of cake inside it. And so I look at it and she goes away and her it's like, I don't know. It was like a different teenager who worked there who looked like maybe 17 or 18. And she was like a lot happier and nicer, but like, it was like I'd been passed off to the register person.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm like, does this normally have cake pieces in it? The Mario one? And she's like, yeah, did you want that? And I was like, yeah, does this one have it? She's like, I don't know. And she calls the other girl over and they're like, you can see the conversation happening in slow motion, like a car crash. It was like, did you put the cake pieces in? And the 12-year-old who was already miserable is just like, no, I didn't. And so then it's like, we got happy employee, happy 18-year-old, and miserable 12-year-old. And happy 18-year-old's like, don't worry, we'll make you an extra one for free. And I'm like, oh shit, I got an extra one for free. I'll just bring back one of these to my family, and you know, then I'll be like ice cream hero.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, go.
I mean, one of them doesn't have the thing in it, but I don't have to tell them.
They don't have to know that. They don't
have to know that. It's not like they've been like. It's not like they're the kind of fucked up video game weirdo who's like, they said they have a Mario licensed ice cream. I must have it. I must have it.
Where's my cake pieces, Matthew?
I know, and so the happy one is like looking at me and smiling, and while it's happening, the mean, sad 12-year-old grabs the old ice cream that I was gonna get as like my bonus free one, and just chucks it in the trash. And it's like, it's a giant, it's like, there were so many things that were just like upsetting about it, because it's like, one, it's still probably really good, right? Yeah. Even without this thing. And like, could have given it to anyone, right? Man. And like, they could have had it. It's just like insane food waste.
Yeah.
And two, they were trying to do a nice thing for me because they messed up. And the person who messed up is just like, no, fuck it. And just chucks it like with all of her rage. And the tall 18-year-old seemed to be the subordinate at this point, is what I'm picking up, of the 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Because she's like, we can't just give that one away. And it's already in the trash at this point. And the 12-year-old's just like, no. Like, it's just like, it's unclear whether the 12-year-old is like the daughter of the owner or a franchise owner or whatever.
That's also just that's corporate. That's corporate restaurants.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But like, yeah, but I've also been to fast food things where like they mess up.
Oh, they
and
just
still get handed the thing. I mean, it was already like I already touched it. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, like I don't want to like. Not that you're wrong, but like as that employee, doing that to you was probably pretty satisfying if they were having a shitty day.
But the thing is, I still got the ice cream I wanted for the right
I'm just
price.
saying, like it's like little wins for retail. They took out all the anger of their previous Karens on you, and I think you're the victim of like having a shitty day.
I mean, it sort of seemed that way. It was really funny though, because I was just like, imagine like the nicest ice cream you've ever seen, like the most delicious sundae, like that Ned Flanders cocoa sundae thing.
Yeah,
and they're just like they forgot like one chocolate shaving on it, and I'm like, I thought they were just gonna add it on top.
Yeah, can't you just remix it? What's the problem?
Well, because it's already like fucking full. I don't know how they would have done it, but like in my opinion, they could have just like scooped it out of the cup, put the other stuff underneath it, and put like it would have taken. You could have still. There's so many ways to solve this, but they just dumped it, and so I wait for them to remake it, and she's like aggressively remaking it, and seems to like aggressively not put in many cake pieces, as if she's saying you'll get it, but you'll get it shitty. And so she gives it to me, and like it was crazy how like she made it in this like aggressive but like sushi master kind of way, because she like had the icing. It came with like cake icing too to give it this blue swirl thing, and like she like took it out of the sink where it had been, and I'm like, is she gonna drip sink water into my ice cream? Maybe at this point, I don't know. But like she's like carrying the ice cream around the store to the sink where the cups are, because it has like specialty cups. That was the other thing they yelled at her about. Not really yelled at her, but that was the other thing. Is that like I don't know who was in charge at that point, because the 18-year-old was like, you're supposed to give them the Mario ice cream in the Mario cups.
Yeah, that just makes sense.
She just criticized. They were like specialty Mario cups, which of course I love, because it's like eating with Mario's face on it just makes it taste more like Mario.
What do you think Mario tastes like? Birthday cake?
I guess. I mean, taste. That's the thing. Let's cut ahead, because basically, this ordeal is over. Eventually the angry employee, I think she did get her aggression out by tossing that shit away.
Yeah.
Because she eventually apologized. She's like, sorry about that. And I was like, no problem. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't really care. I just came in for one ice cream. In the end, I got the ice cream I wanted. Like, it was more of a hassle for her than it was for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a bonus ice cream, but I also didn't have to rush home and try to handle 2 cups of ice cream at the same time.
You'd have to explain to your parents why there was no cake in there, which would have been...
Exactly. I didn't have to tell my parents. I didn't have to force them to switch things or be like, am I killing my parents with this too sweet ice cream?
Can you go back and get cake pieces in this, please, man?
So, that would be the funniest thing. Like the fucking entitled parents. You got us this thing for free. Anyway, I get the ice cream, I eat it. It is the fucking best.
Uh-huh.
It is amazing. I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. Maybe like 8 out of 10 on the experience of going to this place.
That's not bad. That's still a C.
I mean, the thing is, it gave me material for this opening. Like, it was really weird. But yeah, I mean, like, the ice cream was so fucking good. And you know what? I hate to be that guy, and I wasn't a Karen about it. I just asked if they could put the cake in. It was so good. The cake was so good. It was
worth being a Karen that you claim not to be.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even complain. I was just like, I wasn't even rude. I was just nice about it. And I was like silent and just like, waited, and it was just like,
you don't have to be their doormat. You want their fucking cake. I get it. Give me my fucking cake, you stupid kid.
All I asked was if it was supposed to do it or if I misunderstood.
That's a passive-aggressive question, though. So it's like...
Where do I win? How do I win with
Is there supposed to be cake in this? That's you. That's what you sounded like.
Probably. That does sound like what I sounded like.
No, I'm glad you got
it. All right, so that's my story.
Right, that's made up movies. You all go out there and...
Yeah, I'm sorry it was so long, but I I had to get that off my chest. The ice cream's good. If you get one of the other two flavors.
So wait. So it was cake pieces and what else? Because it was full of stuff before. What else was in it?
I don't know what kind of ice cream this was. If it was like ice cream that tasted like cake naturally or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or something, because it tasted really just like the regular ice cream was amazing.
Did it taste like like funfetti, or just taste like good birthday cake?
It tasted like the best birthday cake. It tasted like what your nostalgia brain thinks a Dairy Queen ice cream cake tastes like.
That sounds good.
Like a Dairy Queen ice cream cake is pretty good. This tasted like the best quality ice cream you've ever had. Like the inverse version of Breyers or Dryers or whatever it is. It was just so good. Like it would have been good if it had just been the messed up version. But with the cake next level, with the frosting flavor mixed in, really, really good. Like normally I'll have like a big thing of ice cream and I'll be like, well, I got sick of it halfway through and then I just felt like I have to finish this. This was just like, I ate this big thing. I know I'm going to feel sick all day because I ate this big ice cream. Worth it. Fucking worth it. It was so good. But if anyone out there listening gets any of the other kinds, let me know what it's like. Let me know what Kirby's like. I wish there was a Pokemon. I wish there was a Samus red and yellow ketchup and mustard ice cream or something like that. But
that sounds terrible.
But go out there and support them. Tell them we want more Nintendo bullshit like this. This is like my kind of thing. You know, I don't know when the next time I'll get to go to a theme park. And I don't know when I'm going to get to see that Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios. I love theme parks. I love this kind of themed stuff.
Is that open? Does that open already?
It's opening in January, I think.
Oh, man. That's fun. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. But I don't know if I'm ever going to get to see it at this rate. But if I ever do...
Are you dying?
You know... yeah, at this point, sure. After I ate that thing, yeah. I mean, I'm dying on the inside.
Well, the thing is, I eat a pound of ice cream every day, and that's all I eat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Every lunch. Well, the thing is, I'm going to eat that every day from now on. And I'm going to request that 12-year-old employee to make it. Because you just make it the best.
Could you make it like you did yesterday when you made it good?
Could you make it that way, but like where you make a bad one first to get the bad one out, and then you make the good one?
Are you having a good day? At least I don't have to sing songs.
I should bring up Yelp while she's talking and just hold it up to her. And
What's
just,
your name?
Subtract
What's
stars.
your name, though? Just out of curiosity. Oh, I see how you're going to
just out of curiosity. And also, where do you go to high school, and what is your principal's name?
That's interesting. I mean, if she was like everybody else who worked at those places in Hudson, she probably has very rich parents, and they're just forcing her to do this.
I mean, it's good. She's got to learn to pull herself up by her generational wealth straps.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, let's get on to the actual topic of the show, which is made up movies. We got a suggestion in the chamber, I think. But just for shits and giggles, why don't we spin the old bingo bango bangers?
The bongo spinspo.
And get that bongo spinspo going, and I'll just roll it here and clankety clank clank
clank clank clank. Love that noise.
Boonka bonky bonk.
Cha-chunk, cha-chunk.
There we go. And, okay, which one do we got here? Okay, it says Bobby. A suggestion comes from Amanda Kolar.
Okay.
Is that a relative of yours?
That could be anybody.
Okay, did you rig this thing? What the fuck just happened? No,
that's my, I believe that is my sister-in-law. I'm very positive.
Okay, yeah. So she stole the fine
I might have
name
suggested
it
to her to support.
What? You can't do that. That's like my dream of getting one of my dumb ideas on this stupid show. Although I feel like I talked.
It's like getting somebody to vote for you. It's the same
thing. What?
Yeah.
How is that the same thing?
It's the same thing, baby.
Okay, so suggestion from Amanda Kolar, I guess, a member of the Kolar clan. This feels like cheating. I can't believe this is happening.
You never said no family. There's no rules. You can say my cat can submit too. Why not?
Oh, okay. You want to open up that door? Because Meowth's going to start voting for the stupidest shit imaginable.
Well, Togi's going to vote against Meowth because he's a little jerk.
All right, so this one is from Amanda Kolar. It's called Bobby. It's a documentary. We haven't done one of those
That's
before.
Interesting. We haven't done one of those, yeah.
Okay, documentary about the bobby pin. Okay, that's interesting subject matter. It says a description how a World War I era invention hasn't gone obsolete thanks to the growth in crime and other unforeseen uses.
Okay. Well, I didn't. Maybe in the future I won't have family suggest things.
Yeah, please don't, because this sounds like
sounds
the
very
worst
boring.
movie we've done yet. I can't possibly see how this could be interesting. All right, so let's find out. Let's put on our helmets and our goggle helmets. If this is your first episode, we use our transdimensional goggles to peer into the alternate dimension where these made-up movies are real, and we watch them super fast, and then we can review them for you in real time. So
put these
let me just turn this on and flick. Okay. Whoa!
My eye really hurts.
I didn't see. What?
What? Okay.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay, wow, that was
that was yeah, I mean, I know a lot about bobby pin now. That was informative.
That was I know like painfully a lot.
I know.
Okay,
I know so much of I feel like when Neo does kung fu except with bobby pins.
Yeah, I didn't expect so many people to be killed by bobby pins over the course of this documentary. I did.
It doesn't start that way. You're like
no. It doesn't start that way. It starts painfully dry,
yeah.
as much as you would expect. I didn't expect. Well, I didn't. I guess I kind of. It's like in Fallout New Vegas, and those games, like you lockpick stuff, and I guess. But that's bobby pins.
But it's been used for so many crimes. It's been used for an inordinate amount of crimes that I did not realize.
So bobby pins are extremely crime related. Not to mention the entire section about the drug trade in here.
Yeah.
Because bobbies began being used as roach clips.
Right.
But then certain bobby pins were basically like they were made of a certain resin so that when they became heated, they gave people what seems like a lucid dream, like salvia trip.
Like an ultra high almost. And also, I guess in this universe there was a serial killer called the Bobby Pin Killer, which
who left bobby pins at the scenes of his crimes jammed into his victims' eyeballs.
Yeah, he was a terrible guy, and he
that's an understatement. Yeah, he was a serial killer.
I know, but like I mean, I know about serial killers, and this guy was like really bad. I don't know how to say he's worse than like a lot of other serial killers.
He's worse than Hitler. Just say it.
I'm not going to say that.
Hitler.
Nobody is worse than Hitler.
Really? Yeah. Not even Donald Trump?
And I guess, I mean, what do you want? Yeah, I guess, no, he's not. He's not as bad as Hitler.
Wow.
I'm just saying objectively, he's not as bad.
So you love January 6th.
That is not what I said. I'm saying Hitler killed
that's
millions.
Using today's Zoomer-based understanding of social media and things, you can either agree with everything I say or you're problematic.
I don't. I mean, do you want me to say he's worse than Hitler? I feel like that really just...
Wow, so the Holocaust didn't matter?
I don't know what to say. Should I just not say anything?
I'm just trying to gain clout by dunking on you.
What are you dunking? You're not...
I'm not touching you.
I hate this. I hate Zoomers. I can't say that. I'm really in trouble.
Yeah, now you're in trouble because they can use their... Oh, wait, they don't have any skill sets because all they do is social media. You're fine.
Hi-oh! I get Zoom.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. Anyway, Donald Trump, just as bad as
nobody under 30 listens to this pod because our sense of humor is already...
Right. Was it archaic? Is archaic the word?
Yeah. Hey, let's do that who's on first bit I love.
Who's on first? Hitler. Hitler who?
Oh, no! More like Donald Trump.
He's on second. Third base.
Oh, boy. That bit is actually... probably invented around the same time as the bobby pin. To think of it.
That's why it was so good.
Okay, well, the other thing I didn't expect about this movie was that the documentarian himself would become so involved in
he becomes very
kind of
like you understand, like you sort of understand, like he likes a bobby pin, but he's sort of obsessive about it in a very like I thought at the end he was going to reveal that he was the serial killer. Like that's how obsessed he was with it.
well, yeah. I mean, because that's it. It becomes it's okay. There's sort of like a meta thing going on with this movie where it's like the experience of watching it is similar to the experience of the guy making it. Like it's kind of good in that way. It was a lot more exciting than I thought it was. So apologies to Amanda Kolar if that's
will you please apologize to my sister-in-law?
If that's not actually just Kolar in a fucking wig and Dress to Kill fashion.
No,
spoilers
it is my sister-in-law.
for Dress to Kill. Dress to Kill probably canceled because of trans activism, I assume it's probably a bad take on that as well as other things. I watched that movie at the New Beverly at some point at a double feature. I'm like, whoa, this is a great movie, but I'm sure like I saw it in like the 5-year span when anyone could think that before it became too problematic. So if I'm canceled for that, just don't see it and you won't know. Probably so. All right. So, trans rights are human rights. Just gotta cover my bases there. Whew, that was a close one. These fucking Zoomers are all over the place. They're like popping up out of every wall. It's like whack-a-mole and you can't touch them because words are assault. It's fucking exhausting.
So you can touch them. You just can't word at them.
You can't. If you bring up a Microsoft Word document at them, they just start crying.
Jeez.
It's miserable.
That's tough.
So yeah, what I'm saying about the documentarian is that the documentarian is like, he starts off almost with like a blasé Ken Burns take on this stuff. And then he starts, it's almost like his voiceover narration starts to get more and more amped as the movie goes on. It's almost like someone assigned him this subject as a class project for like Amazon Studios or some shit. And he ends up being like, wait, this is actually interesting. And he starts to get like really fucking invested in it. So much so to the point where it seems like he's trying to do a To Live and Die in LA or Serial. I'm going to be the one who solves this.
Right.
Serial killer.
Yeah, he falls in love with the Bobby Pin killer.
Yeah, he kind of does. He gets so upset when he finds out that the murder had already been solved.
Yeah,
before he
really wanted to solve it. It's like, well, he admitted to it. He admitted he killed those 59 people. That's the crime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's done. And so and also 59 people.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of fucking people. To kill with bobby pins, but
in just so many various ways. He's like Bullseye in Daredevil, where he's just like flicking bobby pins into people's throats at some point.
I mean, the thing is, I've said this before. It's like it's the 70s. It was super easy to get away with murder in the 70s. So it's like,
I thought you were going to say it's super easy to buy a bobby pin.
No, it was.
Yeah, it still is. To be honest,
still is. You can buy bobby pins.
Would be murderers out there.
Not, I mean, I don't know if you can buy them in this universe because of all the murders that were committed. You probably need to. You probably need an ID at least.
Wait, which universe do you mean? Do you mean Universe A or Universe B? And also, which is which?
I refer to ourselves as Universe A. And Universe B is any other universe that I don't care about.
Which one did Hillary win in? And which
none.
one
We've looked at all of them. None. Just too unlikable. She's just not likable.
No, what happened was it was a Doctor Strange situation where the only universe where Hillary won is the one where we died and didn't start this podcast. And we were like, no, the stakes are too great. It's not worth it. Yeah. It's not worth the risk.
Plus, after Hillary is done with her 8 years, Super Hitler becomes president, so nobody wants that.
Oh, right.
And by Super Hitler, I mean Donald Trump.
Super Donald. Man, yeah, we're not going to be a good Zoomer account that shames people, but we could be Brooklyn Dad Jr. I feel like we would nail that. I'll tell you who the real criminal is. It's Donald Trump. Have you heard of this? Snaggleputh over here. So yeah, there's like a drug trade element of this and like a hallucinogenics thing. And there was some sort of tie into that with the murder, the serial killer,
right? Because there was like they were talking about like, well, was he getting high on bobby pins?
Right? Was it like a bath salts situation where he's like eating people's faces because he's high? But it almost seems like it was the opposite. He was like kind of like one of those like what do you call it, like a purity nut jobs where he's like the world's too sinful.
He is straight edge. He was straight. That's not right. I mean, that is the term for it. yeah. He was like those. He would like whip himself with a cat of nine tails. He's one of those.
He was like one of those real sick freaks in Alcoholics Anonymous. Gross. Just man up and keep drinking. I think
his father was an alcoholic or some nonsense, so that's why he decides to not. Similar to Donald Trump,
was a bad guy and a fiend. And you want to know how he got these scars, etc.?
Are you gonna? No, don't even. I'm not gonna go there.
Piss.
I know what you're gonna say. He was nothing like. You know who.
You know who. Yeah, you mean that guy who shall not be named? Yeah. Donald Trump.
Man, Donald Trump is getting ripped apart. Would you
say Voldemort was worse than Hitler?
No.
Would you say Death Eaters are better or worse than
I'm saying I think Voldemort
Cohen?
Was a metaphor for Hitler.
Oh, I get it. So,
and as in he will rise again as Donald Trump.
Just to be clear, though, if stuff's metaphors, the goblins who were bankers,
I'm not saying there's not. I'm not saying there's some terrible metaphors. I'm saying,
have you been to that? When we mentioned a lot of theme park stuff earlier, have you been to the Hogwarts in real life?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That waiting in the line with the goblin bankers, that's the most problematic thing. I was like, because when you really have to stand by, in the books it sort of flies by, but like and in the movies, but when you really have to sit there in the room with all of them counting their coins, it's like,
well, I mean, I don't know, what is the problem? Goblins like money. They're greedy little goblins.
Okay, sounds like somebody else is worse than Voldemort.
I just don't understand. I mean, I guess I don't understand what you're saying. Maybe you could spell it out for me.
I don't know. J.K. Rowling's a turf.
Yeah.
But also people on Twitter are Okay, this is my real point. All right?
What?
I think I'm going to make my thesis about politics and where we're at right now.
A thesis or manifesto?
A little column A, a little column B. My theory is that because the Trump base is so fucking dumb and has such poor critical thinking skills and is so indoctrinated, a lot of liberals have come to the conclusion that if the MAGA people are dumb, the liberals must be smart.
Yeah.
Because they're the opposite. But
you're saying that's not the case?
I think it's like there's a difference between morally more ethical and more morally sound and intelligent.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of liberals, and I say this as an extremely liberal person who probably believes in crazy socialisty stuff more than he lets on. I think there's a lot of really fucking stupid liberals who use incredibly stupid analogies like the one we were discussing earlier about Darth Vader.
Yeah.
There's a Darth Vader tweet that I won't go into now that really pissed me off as a pretty poor analogy, but I feel like people don't care if they're making sense anymore, just as long as they are performing the idea of subscribing to the right political channel.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't care if it tracks or it makes sense what they're saying or there's any logic or soundness behind it, so long as they are preaching to the choir in the right way.
And that's what really frustrates. It's just two echo chambers yelling in their own echo chambers.
Right. And because we do this, and it's like, well, why are you picking on us? It's the other side that's really bad. The thing is, when we are just as dumb as they are, even if our side is just, it makes it easier for everyone to both sides everything.
Yeah.
Because we seem just as stupid as they are. And it's like, I'm begging you, if you're the side of science and reason, use critical thinking and stop just like using liberal politics for social justice clout. Like, actually think things through and try to make the world a better place. oh my God, I know this is neither here nor there, but Elon just tweeted today, he's like, the real problem with society is underpopulation. We all need to have big families to solve it.
Wait, didn't he just, did the news that just came out that he's like got another girl pregnant?
Yeah, he had twins
that's why
with
he said
an
this?
employee of his company.
Oh my God.
And he decided to spin it on Twitter as he's fixing underpopulation.
What a lunatic.
This is the smartest man in the fucking world, right?
Just needs to shut. Is he though? Is he just, he's smart. He's like, he was born
That's
rich.
what I'm
is
saying.
he smart,
He's a
or
fucking
surround
moron.
himself with smart people?
He's generational wealth.
Yeah.
He's just an idiot. He's, again, an idiot's idea of what a smart person is.
Yeah.
We also mistake in this country success for intelligence in a really frustrating way.
Oh yeah, that's true. And I think, I mean, what people need to realize is it's not one side or the other. The real enemy is the goblins.
Okay, here we go. This is your entire rant about the goblin space laser all over again. I'm
just saying, they have all the money and they have the space laser. They're clearly the real enemies.
Here we go. I apologize.
They're so small and their hands are so greasy.
That's so you're saying they have smaller hands than Donald Trump?
No, I'm saying Donald Trump is probably part goblin.
Oh, you might be onto something there.
I don't actually know what I'm saying anymore, but I don't strongly agree with my opinion
anymore. But he might literally be a goblin. I've got to play golf.
I don't know what I don't know where my ideas are anymore, but I'm strongly opinionated, and I will stick by them, and I will die by them.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, so yeah, you're everyone I'm complaining about. Great.
Yeah. I will die for my beliefs
this through,
that I sort of don't
but maybe
understand.
I will by the end of this sentence.
Yeah.
Great. Perfect. Anyway, back to Bobby, the Bobby Pin film that we were discussing. No more diatribes, no more sidelines. Let's go for longest episode ever.
So when were bobby pins invented? Because I know that, and I'm sure you know
during
that now,
World War I. Next question. They were originally, you see, what most people don't know is that it was very sexy, even though a lot of people liked we think of like old era soldiers as being like very clean cut, clean shaven.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't realize is that to a certain subset of people, having long, stringy Dragon Quest XI hair was seen as very sexy on men, not just on the ladies. Of course, a long flowing hair on ladies has always been seen as a sign of virtue because you can donate those hair to Locks of Love, and everyone loves that.
That's always been the case?
It's always, I assume.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, Rapunzel has been a symbol of female virility for many years.
Climb up my hair, and once you get in my bedroom, anything goes. Is that not what the story is?
All right. I didn't expect you to go there.
Is that not what the story is?
I don't know. Not the Disney version. I think they got tangled in a different way in your version.
I don't know. That's what I always thought.
I think what would upset me about that was that in my head I was picturing the Ren and Stimpy where he climbs up Stimpy's nose.
Oh, nose hair,
to get into the tower.
Ren and Stimpy are lovers.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So it's not
Ren Hoek.
They're just gross. They're just gross lovers.
Oh, so homosexuals?
No, I'm saying the cartoon in general is like drawn in a very grotesque way.
Okay, I'm watching you though.
Just like it's one of the grossest cartoons
I can go full swimmer at any
It's
moment.
like really gross.
And then they brought him back and they made all the implicit stuff explicit. It wasn't fun.
It wasn't as funny.
It was just uncomfortable. Yeah. We all know. We all watched Stripperella. That was classic. But what I'm trying to say is that there were a lot of soldiers who wanted to World War I soldiers who wanted to have those long flowing locks.
Yeah.
And they wanted to look sexy. But it wasn't up to military code so this is why the bobby pin was invented initially, was to allow these soldiers, those famous like World War I era helmets, they needed to put their hair into updos into the helmets, with bobby pins to make sure it was concealed from their commanding officers.
Well, you don't want to die not sexy, right? You want to have long flowing hair when you get
exactly. If you're going to be shipped home to those people who care about you the most, you want your body to be preserved in the sexiest manner possible.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And also, when you come home for, if you're in the Navy for shore leave, or when you're just on a break from active duty, you want to keep those locks. So if you run into, this is World War II, which is also covered at some points in this documentary, but if you run into a Haley Atwell type from Captain America, the first Avenger, you want to, be able to have somebody to promise a date to that you might never get to, because you're frozen. Yeah. That's Captain America. That's different.
Well, what also was nice is soldiers also did this because in the heat of battle, they could use bobby pins. They could attach them to the front of their rifles and stab with them. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that there's a certain caliber of rifle that, you could use them as a bayonet on the front of the rifle to, again, jam into people's eyes, which is actually where the serial killer later got the idea.
Yeah, he was in Vietnam, so I think that was part of why he was...
Right. And he was also a military scholar. He had no real love for country because he...
Yeah, he was disillusioned from Vietnam. That'll disillusion anybody.
Exactly. He already went into the war with some disillusionment, but he also thought people who abstained from fighting for what they believed in were cowards.
They're cowards. Filthy cowards, he said. Filthy, blood-sucking bastard cowards.
And so even though I think he was drafted, the draft was still going on during Vietnam, right?
That was the last time they did the draft.
So even though he was drafted, he still went in with a sense of he heard the call of duty and he answered it with pride, but he also was a military scholar and he traded war stories and was really attracted to the gruesome side of the battle. And I think after seeing so many of his friends from his squadron or platoon or whatever you call it,
rogue squadrons.
He had sort of this band of rogues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like one of them was a robot and the other was a
sassy robot. Then there was the
This might be our episode about Rogue Squadron that we're referencing now, but the rest of this is 100% true. But what I want to say was that the caliber of rifles that they used during World War I, they also had these, because a lot of them were made very quickly to support the war effort and just get more munitions on the field, they were known for having iron sights that would snap off due to a manufacturing error. Yeah. And so bobby pins were often attached to like the tops of the rifles to be used as makeshift sights.
There's really nothing they can't do in a pinch.
Yeah. And, I mean, of course, we're talking about their lock-picking abilities, and these have been important. This is sort of the through line in the documentary that takes it from wartime to the crime era and a lot of the stuff.
Into the murders, yeah.
Because there was a lot of, like, prisoners of war who had these, their hair in these updos, who would basically get out of their handcuffs by jostling their hair and releasing the bobby pin and using it to pick the cuffs.
And then they would they would seduce their captors like Bugs Bunny style
with
by putting on a
hair.
dress. Yeah.
Right. Because all it would take was they would just have to sort of bite open their thumb, Attack on Titan style, but instead of turning into a giant Titan or something, they would use the red of the blood to smear on their lips to create makeshift
and they're like, it's a pretty lady. It's a pretty
exactly. And then they'd strip down and they'd Buffalo Bill their penis and scrotum between their legs.
Sure.
And then they would just sort of pose in a Betty Boop fashion and just go, "Hey there, big boy!
It's irresistible.
Don't you want to have sex with a willing, consenting lady?" What'd you say?
I said it was irresistible to those foreign devils, is what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever was fighting in World War I, this really worked on them or from them.
I think it was the Germans and the
it's always
Bulgarians in this universe.
Oh, yeah. The Bulgarians were a major player in World War One, specifically because of their incompetence.
Yeah,
while
they
this
really
is sort
fell
of an aside, but yeah, the Germans said, "Hey, Bulgaria, could you give us all of your supplies? We'll trade you this potato."
Yeah.
And
it was a big potato. They said it was the world's biggest potato.
Yeah, they said it was the largest potato anyone had ever seen.
Yeah.
But when they made this office building and they just like put a door that said potato this way, and there was just a big pit, and all the Bulgarians fell into it.
Well, because a potato in Bulgaria, that's like 5 years' salary. So it's like, of course they're going to go for it.
And of course, the other problem was that when they tried to get out of the pit, they just kept trying to dig their way out instead of climbing on top of each other. And they're like, eventually we'll get on all the other way to China, and the Chinese will help us. So that was the problem. And the few Bulgarians who enlisted in the army were often known for riding their horses facing the wrong way and being very confused and like pulling at the tail. And it just didn't work. Bulgarians were often among the first casualties in World War One.
Yeah, they would say send in the Bulgarians. It was sort of like that bit on South Park where they on South Park Big and Longer Uncut. Where it's,
I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that that's a good strategy?
No, I'm saying
that's what you're saying.
I'm saying it was a joke, but they used it in real life. Yeah.
Okay, I'm watching you.
Donald Trump is Hitler. Where's the Hitler? What do you want from me?
Okay. Finally.
I said it.
All right.
Thank you.
You said the password. You're a Zoomer now.
A Zoomer. Donald Trump is Hitler.
But also gender. The concept of gender is Hitler too, right?
I know. A lot of things are Hitler or worse than Hitler.
I just want you to agree that gender and agreeing with what people's gender identity is the most important thing in the world, but also gender is an outmoded concept and it should be abolished. And I want you to somehow hold both those thoughts in at the same time extremely preciously and not find any contradiction in that.
All right, let me just do it real quick.
Okay.
My microphone. My microphone. Stop. What? Can you hear me? Can you?
Okay, but I'm watching you.
Oh, sorry, my microphone went out for a second. Did you get all that?
Yeah, whatever.
Did you get
all that? It don't matter. None of this matters. I don't know why I'm ranting this week. I'm sorry.
You're not ranting? It's probably because you're so full of ice cream. You probably got to poop.
Oh, my God. I think that's what it is. It's that I'm a little bit white entitled that I didn't get 2 cake ice creams, and that 12-year-old piece of shit stole my second free ice cream. I wanted it so bad.
It was free ice cream.
Those fucking Zoomers and their ice cream stealing. Oh my God, this is their.
Would you say Cold Stone Creamery is worse than Hitler? Because they did take away your ice cream.
I know it's not right to say that, but in my heart, a little bit. Can we just agree they're both bad? Okay,
they're both bad. They're both bad. Speaking of things that are bad, in the 70s in Vietnam, the CIA, which I didn't know, they would lace bobby pins with a hallucinogenic, which I think was called. What was it called? Carcinocacan, which was experimental at the time, but they want to give it to soldiers to essentially make super soldiers, as the CIA is always trying to do.
That's the thing, and it seemed like at some point there was like some sort of manufacturing misunderstanding, and like they wanted to lace them with something, and eventually they began to make rather than just coating them when they were finished, or maybe they were still coated. Regardless, ones that were meant to be sent to the military as a way of like subtly slipping. Again, this was for prisoners of war to try to slip these bobby pins into places where they might eventually get into the food supply and start messing up their captors. But eventually, due to some sort of shipping or manufacturing misunderstanding, the bobby pins were actually put into mass production. And so this is where this started to become an issue as the prevalence of pot usage became more and more prevalent. Its prevalence became more prevalent.
The prevalency of the prevalence became prevalent.
Would you say prevalent Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is always prevalent in my mind, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Wow! Okay.
As Hitler, as being worse than Hitler.
Okay. Almost had you. Yeah. Almost had you. Could have gotten so much clout just then.
Nope. I got my bases covered, baby.
My goal is to just be Hannibal Buress to your Bill Cosby. Just make a career off the back of your destruction. Not that Cosby didn't deserve it. I mean, the horrible shit he did, like releasing that rap album.
Would you say Bill Cosby is just as bad as Donald Trump?
I would say yes, probably, in real life, yes. Wow, that's an interesting question. Who's committed more sexual assaults?
Well, alleged sexual assaults.
Probably hard. It's probably hard for which one. I think Cosby. It's pretty well proven at this point.
Yeah. It's very
all right. We're way off topic on
this.
No,
we're on topic.
Let's just say Cosby is as bad as Cold Stone and move on.
Jeez, okay.
Just agree.
Pretty
with
bad
that.
then.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's if they just remember the fucking cake, this wouldn't be an issue. Now, would it? 0 stars. Shores reviews.
Stop yelping them. They're just kids on their.
I'll stop yelping.
Can you imagine having to work during your summer break? That's terrible.
Yeah, I do. I worked at SeaWorld. Thanks, Kevin Knox.
That sounds like a terrible place to work.
Yeah, right.
In a lot of ways, SeaWorld might be just as bad as Hitler.
For whales, it is. Whale. They are the Hitler of whales, pretty much.
Yeah.
Besides the Japanese.
They were on Hitler's side, so you know it makes sense.
Oh my god,
they do. They hate whales. They just hate them so much.
I've been playing Death Stranding, and for some reason there's a lot of whale imagery in that, and he really goes overboard to make whales seem evil.
Really?
And I'm just like, is this a Japanese thing? Because you seem to love American culture. Is this like the one holdout of your Japanese? Your love for your home country? You hate whales.
They just hate them so much.
There's so many dead whales and dolphins in it. I'm just like, I don't get it.
That's weird.
Oh well. It's weird. And it makes sure that all of the whales have like really sharp teeth. They're like whales? Monstro. There's like sort of.
Do you fight a whale?
I don't want to give too much away, but maybe perhaps you do. Perhaps you do. Perhaps you go to Vietnam. I mean, perhaps you do. Perhaps this movie has a lot to do with Death Stranding. Perhaps they're basically the same thing.
I feel like people don't know what so how is it the same as Death Stranding? Because I've never played Death Stranding.
I just don't want to spoil it. I honestly don't want to spoil it because I'm not joking. I don't want to spoil it because so much okay, this is my quick review of Death Stranding. It's told in the stupidest way possible, but the story actually pays off. For me, anyway. It paid off for me. And I was shocked by that because it made no sense for so long that when it finally paid off, I was like, wait, did I just love this? Holy shit. So, yeah, if you don't know what Death Stranding is, it's a very bizarre, convoluted video game on PS4, PS5.
Speaking of stories paying off,
this one will not. But yeah, basically the documentarian is doing this like long sort of not expose, but just basically historiography on how they were initially used in these times. And of course, there is the more traditional way they were used in the States prior to this hallucinogenic stuff, which is just for updos and keeping your hair.
That's where the name came
from.
It's a bob cut or a bobby cut.
Right, exactly.
Bobbed hair.
So during the 20s, when these hairstyles became very en vogue, that's how you say that, right? Like fondant.
Fondant, yeah. Oui.
They when they were very en vogue.
Yeah, they were en vogue in the
20s. They were used in that way, of course. But yeah, they could be used as clothespins on light objects to a certain extent.
They could be slipped over book pages as a bookmark.
It's true. And don't look up the Wikipedia for bobby pins for any of this information, because we know this all by memory, and it might break that illusion. But
they could be used in place of clothespins too, which was nice.
I said that one from Wikipedia. From our memory, for our goggles. Fuck you! God damn it!
Sorry,
God damn
it!
I
didn't hear you. Sorry.
Did
you know they were also sometimes tinted to the person's hair color, whether blonde, brown,
that's
red?
Cute.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, to an extent. but yeah. So basically, people began. There was like a scandal in the 70s where people were getting high because they were using. If you don't know what a roach clip is, basically when you roll a joint full of marijuana, Mary Jane, you sometimes get down to the butt of the joint, and there's only a little bit left. Then if you try to light it, you're basically going to set your fingers on fire when you're smoking.
No one wants that. You burn fingers all high and stuff. That's not fun.
That's not fun. So what you want to do is you want to have something like a clip to hold it. And so people would use bobby pins as the clips, as roach clips. But because some of these got laced with this like hallucinogenic that had like weird military purposes, basically they would be smoking these J's, and they would go on these insane like salvia trips where they were like literally
it was essentially DMT
dimension.
I think, or some sort of like variation of DMT.
Yeah, where it's just like they're seeing things that aren't there.
Yeah.
They're no longer in the same location.
But it's lasted long, because DMT and salvia don't last very long. This seemed to last hours.
Right. We're talking about like the difference between a 30-second trip to a 6-hour trip. And it's because these were incredibly concentrated doses that were used specifically to facilitate military getaways and stuff like that. The idea was taking these commonplace objects, slipping them into things like tea supplies or something like that, where they might become heated, or maybe when they were heated, the fumes would go off and they would start to basically like make people hallucinate.
Right.
And
so
essentially,
it was like the CIA was like in this, back then they were just like, well, what can't it do? Like, we'll just try it out. We'll just throw it on the wall and see what sticks,
Right. And this was an experimental tactic that was never used consistently. And especially because of this fuck up where because it was accidentally given to public consumption instead of being used overseas, the initial test run of it in Vietnam was a failure. And because the government didn't want to admit that they had created this massive fuck up, they sort of tried to keep it under,
they tried to destroy the remaining supply, but,
how do you destroy? How do you burn this stuff without setting off? So it was incredibly hard to dispose of this stuff as well. Anyway, the serial killer dude, he used this ongoing scandal. At first, people thought that the weed was what was getting them so crazy high, and they kept buying the weed and being like, "Wait, what's happening?"
Right. It was like what's that movie? Fucking where they're all freaking out. They're all hepped up and freaking out.
Garfield.
What?
Garfield. It's like, we're Odie.
The weed propaganda movie, not Garfield.
Oh, Reefer Madness.
Yeah, Reefer.
All right. Well, you said a movie where everyone's freaking out. I immediately thought of Garfield.
When is he freaking out? He just likes to dance.
I forgot he dances. He's sort of the original Joker in a way.
I like to get high on bobby pins and watch Garfield, okay? I'm sorry.
Nah, man, let's just watch Fraggle Rock. That's where it's at.
Just take a couple of pins and fucking watch Fraggle Rock.
Laughing cares away.
The first time, this is a true story. The first time I did any hallucinogen, I watched Fraggle Rock, and then I freaked out and had a bad time.
Really?
Yeah, it's real.
I remember one time you and I did hallucinogens, and I really freaked out. Yeah. I stared into the abyss, and the abyss stared back. It was pretty crazy.
Pretty fun. And that's why we're comedians.
That's why we are unhireable.
Unhireable comedians.
But But yeah, what's funny is that like where we are, everything we're saying sounds crazy. If we were in LA right now, everything would be saying it was par for the course. Yeah. Except the Zoomer stuff. You still got to keep on appearances.
I know. Donald Trump is Hitler. I know.
There we go. Okay. Also, I think this show could use a more diverse cast. Okay, I just had to say that.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. The problem is everybody.
That's just because you keep saying floating that you want to recast me.
I'm not saying that. Episode. I'm saying we could add a cast member, maybe another white guy who's our age.
The Chapo method. You say?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a guy who laughs at everything we say. That'd be nice.
There we go. Actually, I like the idea of someone who laughs at what I say.
Just laughs terribly at everything you say. That's what we need. That's the third. That's the piece that's missing. Yeah, Artie Lang is what we need. He would do all of our drugs.
So people are getting high off this stuff. They're hallucinating. And as a result of this, some crazy shit is happening because you've got these basically like the bath salts guy in Florida, they're just performing these weird acts. They're like running into traffic, causing accidents.
Yeah.
Accidents. That's like some weird Doctor Who thing. It was an accidents in history, an incidence of accidents. Loki, you need to solve these incidents. But basically, I wonder how many times I've said basically over the course of this pod, where I'm trying to sum up something as I'm trying to figure out what it is in real time. But basically, generally, stammering, Kolar say something.
What are you stammering about over there?
But basically, that's why Jason's so horny for kills. And
what movie did you watch?
I'll cut out the uhs later.
Oh boy.
So the serial killer guy, who I guess was known as the Bobby Pin Killer by one of his names, right?
Yeah, he had multiple names: Bobby Pin Killer, the Pinster,
or just Bobby, right?
Bobby.
The Pinster, right? Yeah. That's a pretty cool name. Sounds like a Batman villain or a Dick Tracy villain.
Right.
A Dick Tracy villain who only wears pinstripes.
Right. It's like that's
it's the
that's
Pinster.
Basically every Dick Tracy villain.
He's also one of those Pokemon you can only get in the Safari Zone.
Oh, that's Pinsir. Rare. That's Pinsir.
No, that's Scyther.
Scyther. Sorry.
Scyther. Why can't he be a fucking Cold Stone? I would eat that in a second.
Grass flavored.
I want some more.
And full of knives.
All we wanted was a little bit of. Okay, so what I would like is for you to make me a specialty, grass flavored, just infused with wheatgrass and mint, and some razor leaves in there, and just like make me a Scyther themed Cold Stone ice cream. If you could, instead of using the regular Cold Stone pallets that you use to slap the ice cream around, could you use these little green scythes that I've made? I just think, and could you put on this little mask? I know you're 12 and I'm an adult man, and sing a little song, would you? You look depressed.
Maybe try to smile. Have you tried smiling?
Don't worry, I painted a smile on your mask, so... Scyther doesn't really smile, but I think it could anything to cheer up your mood, dear. Goddamn kids.
Boy.
Goddamn millennials.
Oh, Bobby Pin Killer. Yeah.
So the Bobby Pin Killer is basically like, he starts committing these crimes based on the fact that people are already hallucinating because of this, these things and these bobby pins in circulation that are getting people high.
And he it's weird because he doesn't like people doing drugs or drinking or getting high. He's pure, but he forces some of his victims to get high. So it's sort of like, he's at fault
he laces
already.
Almost all of his victims with. Well, I think it's because he's picking people. He considers himself like. Again, he went into Vietnam. He saw almost all of his friends in his rogue squadron die.
Yeah.
He was in the squadron of rogues. He saw Reba Baktu die.
They saw them all die
in his arms, in his fucking arms.
It's sad.
And she was
it was a pointless war. I know, senseless.
Baby.
Yeah.
And she died. And but so, after the horrors of war that he saw, he already sort of like hated the way society was and thought the regimented nature of the military would give him something to believe in.
Right.
But it only made him like lose faith in.
Right. Like a lot of domestic terrorists, they join the military and they become disillusioned with America.
Well, the nice thing is he just went through that. What stopped him from becoming a serial killer is he went through all of that, like the Veterans Affairs and stuff office, and like they really helped him with ways to get back into society and his mental health issues. And that's why none of our vets have problems, is because we have this great system in place.
Oh, you're being sarcastic.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the other dimension where that exists. Yeah, in our dimension.
We've checked every dimension that it doesn't exist in any dimension.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. So, yeah, so he decided to kill people instead.
Yeah, decided to kill people. Classic.
And basically he would, I don't know, he would pick people based on the thing is like a lot of serial killers, he had like a area of operation.
Yeah.
That, and he tried to mix things up so that he wouldn't get caught. He expanded outwards, but he really liked, working in this one city and sort of moving his way around the map. They showed this like creepy like bobby pin spiral they created on a map with red bobby pins.
Yeah, because it was like he started like Tallahassee or something, like moved to the other parts of Florida. Yeah.
Right. At one point he's in Tampa. Yeah. He like moves around the Floridian Peninsula.
Yeah.
That's pretty beautiful, right? It's a beautiful place, Mar-a-Lago.
But then they put together that the red strings or whatever, it's spelled out Bobby. Like that was his
name.
That's how
that was really crazy. Yeah, it was only like, I mean, he killed so many people, but it was only like 20 or so, 25 of them that did that. But like he was fucking with them at a certain point when he realized that because it's Florida and everyone had a natural predilection to wanting to hallucinate.
Right.
It was unclear. It was hard for the authorities to distinguish who was just a random person who had like gotten high and hallucinated and who was part of this thing. And
also all the witnesses were like usually had gotten super high too. So it's like you can't trust those witnesses, and there's no cameras in the 70s.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Well, I mean, yeah, there's like, what do you call it? There's like old school film cameras.
There's no CCTV in the 70s.
Yeah, that's for sure. Not like they've got in Britain.
Yeah, where they watch everything you do in Britain.
Political commentary. Man, I'm running out of steam on commentary.
More like Brexit is the real Hitler.
More like Boris Johnson. Nailed it.
He's gone forever.
Yeah, so that's all stuff. You can look that up.
Yeah, we can Wikipedia that.
Yeah, you can look at. Oh yeah. It's all on Wikipedia. You can do an episode of that. I mean, not that we look that stuff up.
No, if Boris Johnson had a bobby pin, maybe his hair wouldn't be so silly.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
But maybe he'd be even higher.
He'd be so high.
Is that why? Oh my God, that would be an incredible crossover episode if the reason he had all those sexy parties that broke COVID protocol is because he wanted to finally get his hair in order and he put the bobby pin in and it started making him hallucinate.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but it's possible.
It doesn't make less sense than anything that actually happened.
Politicians have sexy parties. That's what they do.
His like second in command, who he promoted, groped all those guys. I was reading about it today, and I'm just like, okay, the scandals are kind of interesting, but at the same time, I feel like Trump did 4 of these before he had his morning Egg McMuffin.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's like Trump is worse than what's his face.
Yeah, worse than Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
He's the real clown here. You want to know how I got these scars? Bobby,
All right, so
basically, he kills a bunch of people. They eventually find him because he gets really brazen, and I think he gets frustrated that no one's following. He does that thing where he like shows up at like town halls that are like protesting him and starts leaving bobby pins behind.
Right.
Like he's eventually like creating a trail of bobby pins.
Because it's like, just fucking catch him. Come on, he's everywhere.
And one thing like he longs for death. I think that's what part of this is about.
Yeah.
Was that he wanted someone to kill him, and he felt that survivor's guilt for being like a surviving member of all these people who had died in Nam.
Yeah.
And so he was just like taking out people he thought were the scum of the earth, according to his weird, Puritanical.
Well, he had his own weird code that doesn't really make sense. It's all in his manifesto.
No, yeah. He was just like, oh, this woman's wearing a skirt that's too short. That's not pure.
Yeah,
or
this preacher like, oh, this other woman's wearing pants. Women should wear pants. He contradicted himself constantly.
yeah, it didn't make sense. His like what his morality was just like he was sick of it. Like he was basically
just depended on the day. I think.
Of his era. Yeah. He just like didn't like. And you say someone fucked up his ice cream, he could just like fucking jab
he freaked out. He freaked out because someone fucked up his ice cream.
God, I want those cake pieces.
Yeah,
that's is what he said. Probably.
Yeah, not
allegedly.
what he said. Yeah, but no. So eventually they catch him and he's sentenced to death because he's in Florida.
Yeah. And he's put in the gas chamber, and basically the documentarian is sort of like bittersweet about it because you could tell he really wanted to interview him.
Yeah, he wanted to interview him, and it's like, but he's like finding out. He's like, he was so sad. He's like, it seemed like he was about to go to like the jail, and then he Wikipedia'd himself. He's like, oh, he's been dead for 30 years.
Yeah, he's like getting ahead of himself, and he's really upset that he doesn't get to like serial this shit.
Right.
And he tries to make something poetic out of the fact that this guy had been like hallucinating in people with this like drug that's like asphyxiating them or somehow.
He also like was weirdly obsessed with trying to find bobby pins from the 70s so he could get high. Which I think.
Oh yeah, the documentarian tries for the longest time to find one of these ones so he can document what the experience is like, because he keeps talking to these people and they're like, it was a trip, man. It was like nothing you'll ever find.
I mean, I've done I've done acid, I've done LSD, I've done the other drugs, I've done them all. Nothing was crazy as bobby pins, stuff like that.
Yeah, and those guys, he starts to get like, he goes from having like an academic fascination with it to being like, man, maybe I should fucking try some of this. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's fucking cool, man. It's fucking cool. You gotta try, man. Too bad you can't.
And so like he realizes he can't find, like, they're just like not in circulation anymore.
Yeah,
or he finds one in a museum.
Can't get them.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like loot. So it's like he can't find he like even says, I would have to break into a museum to get it. And then there's like a lingering shot of this bobby pin in a case. And it's almost like, is he going to do this?
Yeah.
Is he going to do this shit? But he eventually settles on just doing DMT.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they legally
and that's
did this.
And that's like the last 30 minutes is him watching him smoke DMT. It's kind of...
Right. And then like the editing of the movie becomes really erratic and nonsensical.
Yeah.
And he just starts waxing poetic about where bobby pins might take us in the future.
Right.
And he's like talking about like how the Bobby, the Pinster, that Pokemon serial killer guy, he used the bobby pins to break into people's houses, and they were used to break out of handcuffs and stuff like that. And now he feels like a bobby pin is unlocking something inside of him, even though he's on DMT, so it doesn't work. And he's like, it's like unlocking a hidden door in my mind. And this is all happening with like some After Effects CGI nonsense inside his, like,
it becomes like a very well made documentary, and it goes into student film like towards the end very quickly. It's kind of strange. It's like, did he just discover After Effects? I don't understand, because he's doing all the...
Yeah, he starts trying to do some God particle stuff, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then it's like he's like coming down, and then gives this like Ken Burns documentary thing. It's like, so the bobby pin has seen many uses over the years.
I think that same song from the Civil War played, where it's just like the band flute. Yeah, it's like Saints Go, not the Saints Go March, it's like the sad one. Farewell to Arms or whatever. What is this documentary? But I mean, it was
it's actually a military trumpet playing an Oasis song.
Oh, is it playing Oasis? Playing Wonderwall?
It's playing Slip inside the eye of your mind.
It's a sad song. It really makes you think.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, so that was Bobby.
That's basically Bobby.
That's
There's
basically
like a
Bobby.
lot of little weird details there, and they talk about like how you pick a lock with a bobby pin, but that's stuff you can research on YouTube yourself.
It's easy.
In your
It's
spare
easy.
time.
You just stick it in there and wiggle it around.
So special thanks to Kolar and Address for suggesting this
no,
one.
Amanda Kolar is my sister-in-law. She's married to my brother Mark.
And brother Mark. And so if you have any comments about like the wild diatribes I went on this episode, you can go to @MadeUpMoviesPod on Twitter or email us at madeupmoviespod@gmail.com. And also that's where you can go to submit made-up movie ideas. So if you have an idea for a made-up movie, give us the title of that made-up movie and what the premise is about in a couple sentences or less. And just email at madeupmoviespod@gmail.com or at tweet at madeupmoviespod and let us know what those are. We're always taking suggestions, so shoot that in whenever. And yeah, that's it. And also, tell me if you get that fucking ice cream. I want to know what that Kirby tastes like. Go to Cold Stone. Tell me, like, tweet at me with your Cold Stone experiences, please. I'd love to hear if mine is strange. Are they all operated by 6-year-olds? Like, I gotta know. I gotta know. And Kolar, please, if there is a Cold Stone near you,
yeah,
please go so we can get a second opinion on this.
I don't really. I prefer frozen yogurt. Sorry.
Oh, come on, man!
I'm sorry.
Come on,
I like putting boba on my my frozen treats.
Oh boy, those are fish eggs. You know that? Becky told me they're made of fishes.
No. All right.
All right. That's all for us. All right, Bobby. Bye bye.